Hello there, people of YouTube land. Once again, it is I, the Zombie Messiah, this time bringing you an interesting video. DC Comics versus Shonen Jump manga. And with that, we shall begin with our first fight. Now note, I am a fan of both DC Comics and Shonen Jump. I like manga because it tends to be a lot easier to follow than comic books, and the stories tend to be a lot more built up and interesting, with very interesting story arcs. However, I like comic books because they tend to be, well, they're just one of those things that you really just enjoy reading, even though the stories aren't exactly as good. But each to their own. Anyway, our first fight in this video is going to be Amira Kenshi versus the Batman. Now, both these guys have a strong opposition to killing, however their reasons for which are very different. Batman being because he had to witness his parents die when he was a child, which strongly influenced his decision to become the Batman, while Kenshi, his was more of a promise to a dying loved one, and albeit not a member of his family, instead a woman that he was in love with and accidentally killed while fighting a guy who wanted him dead. Anyway, now that that's out of the way, I see the fight going like this. It starts off with Batman and Kenshi meeting each other in a forested area. Kenshi would be confused by Batman's presence and would not really know whether to count him as a friend or a foe. Batman, on the other hand, would easily notice the handle of the sword, and not knowing that the blade is reversed, would instantly see Kenshi as a threat and would try to take him out using batarangs. However, because of Kenshi's extensive training in the art of Hitamitsurugi Ryu, the killing sword, he would easily have the speed to be able to dodge the batarangs that are thrown at him, and would instantly start to charge towards Batman. Now, in the original Rurouni Kenshi anime, the artist drew it so that Kenshi was moving so fast at points where he was charging or leaping that it would seem like he teleported, when actually he was just moving in really, really fast. However, Batman could just throw everything that he has at Kenshi, but it wouldn't make much difference because most of Batman's gadgets really tend to rely on the enemy moving at normal running speed. Kenshi doesn't run at normal speed. In fact, normal running speed for a person is pretty much just jogging speed for him. So a lot of his gadgets would tend to miss, causing Batman to mostly rely on his fear tactics. Being in a forested area, there'd be a lot of trees for Batman to easily take advantage of, i.e. throwing down a smoke pellet, a little to disorient Kenshi and get himself to a higher vantage point. Though in the end, I'd really see this fight as not really being one of those that has an end in one of them coming out on top. Simply because while Batman would rely more on fear tactics, Kenshi has actually faced worse opponents that could be considered more terrifying. In fact, hell, the first major villain in the manga and anime could kill you by by using a sword, by using an art, which essentially he can shut down your. He fills you with so much fear that he shuts down your lungs, giving you only 3 minutes left of life, unless he's either killed or he decides to snap you out of it. And and that's also not mentioning Shishio, who is able to control fire, even having fire surround his sword for a really powerful attack, and also being the only opponent to actually succeed at killing Kenshi. Although it was Messiah. Although it was kind of weird hero logic that brought Kenshi back from the dead. Yeah, I'm not really gonna go into that. Even to me, as a fan of it, I'm still like, wait, how does that even work? But anyway, guys, this fight is easily considered to be a draw. Our next fight is something that I had to put a lot more thought into, because at first I couldn't find an opponent to match up with the character that I had in mind. But I managed to find one, and get ready for this. This is Ichigo Kurosaki versus the Green Lantern. Now bear in mind that the Green Lantern Corps and the Soul Reapers are essentially protective forces for the innocent. The Green Lantern Corps being like a police force for the whole universe, while the Soul Reapers are more like guardians of the dead, helping the souls of the recently departed to make their way to Soul Society, while fighting off corrupted spirits known as Hollows. Each Soul Reaper has their own different power level, with Ichigo being one of the strongest, despite also being partially hollow. But with that, it will be interesting because you've got Ichigo's powers as a Soul Reaper, including the use of his Zanpakuto. And also, which would be made even powerful if he decided to use his Bankai form. Now, for those who don't know, Bankai is essentially a form that a Soul Reaper can go into, which increases their power tenfold, and it's the second. Well, Bankai is essentially a second form of the sword, or that they use, which is more a natural form. However, Ichigo's his sword becomes a lot more thinner, and he becomes insanely fast as a result. But for this fight, be honest, I actually have to give it to the Green Lantern. Why? Because even though Ichigo has so many different possibilities for scenarios that he could throw at Green Lantern, thanks to the powering that the Green Lantern has, he can pretty much cover himself for any scenario. Whether it be shield or heck, even a whole damn army. So for this one, it's a win for the Green Lantern, and DC has its first win. Now we're going on to the one that you guys have been expecting. We're at the big one. The one that everyone has covered, and I am going to throw my own 2 cents into this one. This is it. The final fight at 8. Goku versus Superman. Now, just to let you guys know, I am actually a really big Superman fan, and I have not watched that much Dragon Ball Z. So, don't take my word as word of as true word. But and for this, I'm not allowing Goku to have any of his transformative states. So no Super Saiyan and no Kaioken. And now then, and also he's at the strength that he has at the end of the Majin Buu saga. And with that, to be honest, it's more really a battle of endurance. Who can last the longest? Now we all know that Superman is built up to be this figure that's invulnerable to all physical damage. However, even he has his limits, as seen in the famous Death of Superman series, where he was seemingly killed by Doomsday. But to be honest, I actually think Goku would last us longer. Why? Because in the Superman comics, we see Superman not really doing a lot of training, whereas with Goku, he's constantly training to better himself. Even when he's dead, it doesn't stop him. So, it's a definite win for Goku. And that about ends it. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, both the comic book fans and the manga fans, and I hope you guys decide to pick up J-Star's Victory Versus. It's the gameplay that you see in the background. I will see you guys next time on my next video. So, until then,